So we are Group 1, and we have Middle Eastern business etiquette. And we've divided it up into conservative, liberal, and unique nations to discuss how someone who is planning on doing business in the Middle East should go about doing that.
When doing business, first impressions can make or break a deal. In our research, we have found some simple guidelines one can follow in order to ensure the first impression will be positive. When you walk into a room, the first thing someone notices is what you are wearing. In conservative nations such as Saudi Arabia, a conservative style of business attire is expected. For men, it is a suit and tie. Make sure to keep the colors dark and avoid anything too flashy. If the dress code calls for business casual, a simple button-up dress shirt with some nice pants is accepted. Do not show up in jeans. Whether you're a citizen or a foreigner, everyone is expected to follow Islamic law. For women who may be traveling for business, wear a longer dress. Avoid showing the legs, arms, or lower portion of the neck. Some may even expect women to wear an abaya, which is essentially just a robe that covers all the clothing, as well as a scarf to cover one's hair. Introductions in Saudi Arabia are similar to the way they are done here in the United States. A firm handshake with good eye contact. Expect to have plenty of conversation before getting down to business. Trust must be built before some may even deal with you. Never appear late to a meeting. This is highly offensive. If you notice there's carpet in the room, remove your shoes. Cards are always given and received, but always with the right hand and eye contact. Have one of your sides of the card translated to Arabic. Meetings do require patience. Always remain calm and expect a bargain. One may be given a number that seems entirely too low as to test a price. When in Yemen, one can follow the same guidelines as discussed for Saudi Arabia. However, in Yemen, there appears to be a higher power distance. There is little to no delegation of power or responsibilities. Decisions must be made by the absolute top level of management, so extra patience may be required. Also, titles in Yemen hold strong importance. Mr. or Miss followed by the last name will be suffice unless dealing with government. Here you want to refer to these officials as Your Excellency. The same etiquette displayed in Saudi Arabia and Yemen applies to Bahrain. However, Bahrain does differ in the sense of uncertainty avoidance. Putting a client in a high-pressure situation may turn that client off to a deal. As discussed before, patience is crucial. Just remember, in these conservative nations, dress to impress, shake hands, keep eye contact, and most of all, be patient.
Slide 6. Liberal Nation, Jordan. Jordan is located at the heart of the Middle East, and their culture follows Arab traditions. The country consists of 95% Bedouin or Palestinian origins. The remaining 5% is Circassians. Since the country deals heavily with commerce, English is spoken frequently for business, government, and private school use, although their official language is Arabic. The Jordanian people are very welcoming of outside visitors and are very forgiving to those who do not know their traditions, however show that they are making an effort to learn their culture. For religion, 90% of Jordan practices Muslim religion and traditions. 10% practices Christianity. As the heart of the Middle East, Jordan is very tolerant of other religions. The country is home to many natural religious historical sites and earliest churches. For example, where John the Baptist baptized Jesus, Mount Nebo, Keys, which overlook the Sea of Galilee, which is also the site where Jesus performed the miracle of Gerardine swine. For cuisine, Jordan's cuisine is amongst the world's finest. Their food customs are part of Arab traditions, and while delicious, their food plays a large and very important role in their social customs that would be beneficial to learn for business travel. Jordan's tradition and method of serving food is to provide a feast-like meal. The guest is not required to bring anything with them. However, they are expected to eat everything that their host provides. The national dish in Jordan is called mansaf, which is well-seasoned lamb prepared for hours and is only served during special occasions like holidays, birthdays, and weddings. For business etiquette, when traveling to Jordan, it is crucial to learn, observe, and participate in their work traditions and social norms. There is always a concern for how someone is doing. As a guest and host, there are gifts provided and the visitor is celebrated. Shoes are considered dirty when entering a home, and they are left at the front entrance. You never show the bottom of your foot towards someone as it is seen as disrespectful and forbidden. Jordanian men hold hands in public and kiss each other on the cheek when greeting. Interactions between men and women mean that the woman will initiate how to respond back to her approach during a greeting, whether it be by handshake or not. Contact with the opposite sex is not encouraged. Jordanians are very punctual, and they do not appreciate someone who is late by 5 minutes. Anyone arriving past 30 minutes, it is seen as being disrespectful. A regular work week is a Sunday through Thursday schedule, and the hours of operation are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It is not advised to schedule appointments for Fridays. During the holiday Ramadan, businesses slow down considerably. Slide 7. Liberal nations. United Arab Emirates, or UAE. The United Arab Emirates is a collection of 7 nations along the Arabian Peninsula. The nations that build up the Emirates are Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, Al Qaima, and Al Fuqayra. The union was created through a series of events through history and were finally unified in 1971. Following a series of truces with Britain in the 19th century, the Emirates united to form the Trucial States. This occurred following the World War II, 1939-45, when the Trucial States of Bahrain and Qatar declared independent statehood. The rest were formally united in 1971, with the city of Abu Dhabi serving as its capital. The stability of the federation has since been tested by rivalries between the families governing the larger states of Abu Dhabi and Dubai, though external events such as the Persian Gulf War and ongoing territorial dispute with Iran has served to strengthen the Emirates. For religion in the UAE, or the United Arab Emirates, there are many religions practiced within the Emirates. However, the founding religion is Islamic. The official language is Arabic. The other languages also spoken are Pashto, Hindi, Balochi, and Persian. English is spoken widely. And for religions, there is a variety. However, Sunni Muslim is the majority, followed by Hindu, Christian, and Buddhist. The people of the Emirates are made up of only 1/9 whom are citizens, and the rest are foreign workers and their dependents. The social structure of the Emirates are very separate. So there are those that have money, and there are those that are highly in need. The population is primarily made up of South Asians. Then there are some Arabs from Arab nations as well. Most of the South Asians are Filipino immigrants working their way into the city. For their customs, Emirates rarely follow the traditions of their heritage. Although few Emiratis retain the life ways of their forebears, practicing a nomadic lifestyle or plying the Persian Gulf in search of fish or pearls, many traditional modes of living continue. The major Islamic holidays, including the two Eids, Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, are observed among the Muslim majority, and traditional dress is still the norm. Women in the Emirates are not amongst normal other Arab nations. They actually hold down jobs within the labor force, and they work long hours as well. The cuisine for the Emirates is very diverse due to the volume of people and traditions that have migrated through the years. There is a combination of Arab cuisine along with Iranian preferences for rice, saffron, and cardamom. For business etiquette, the United Emirates constitute of Islamic religion and also contains many other religions since only 10% of the people are Arab. Business success greatly depends on the observance and approach of the culture being addressed. It would be beneficial to learn about Islamic culture as the major law observed is Sharia law. A Westerner doing business here should learn some things about Islam before going to UAE. The legal system revolves around Sharia or Islamic law, which forbids things like proselytizing, criticizing Islam, and snapping photos of individuals without their permission. Status plays a large role in greeting others. So when meeting others, it is customary to address someone by their title or by prefix, such as Mr. or Mrs., Sheikh or Shika. Men can lightly shake hands with each other, and when completed, they may place their hand over their heart to show respect and honor. Women are expected to dress modestly.
So, the first unique nation that we're going to talk about is Israel. And so, the following are some characteristics of the business meeting style there. The main native languages in Israel are Hebrew and Arabic, but English is commonly spoken. So, for international business, English would be the primary language, and most natives of Israel would be able to understand and speak the language. The business style can be classified as Mediterranean and sophisticated. So while Israel is in the Middle East, it does have influences that make it similar to that of some European business styles. In Israel, the dress code is less formal. So people are expected to look nice, but a full suit is only needed for, say, meeting a high up official or like a president of a company, something among that nature. Now, one of the main points to recognize about Israel is that the communication style is blunt, direct, and to the point. And so this can be seen throughout all aspects of business, but especially negotiations. So with negotiations, they may take longer than in some other nations when business is happening. And this can make the meetings a little bit shorter too. With this blunt, direct, and to the point style also comes a laid back atmosphere. So people are not expecting to be uptight like you might see in other places for business. And with being laid back comes a clear distinction and between business and social being hard to see. So people might one second be talking about, say, their families, but in the next moment they could be talking about the dealings again. So it really just depends. But overall, with being laid back, it makes Israel a easy nation for foreigners to adapt to when doing business there. So next we're going to talk about the religion and morals in Israel that affect business there. So it's important to know that Israel is primarily a Jewish nation. So in the past, the nation has been known for having some disputes between different religions over what is known as the Holy Land. But throughout all of these disputes, Judaism has still reigned as the primary religion, and thus the religion that may affect people's style of business. So one important thing to remember with Judaism is that those who practice that faith tend to avoid work on the Sabbath day. The Sabbath is late Friday night into all day Saturday. And according to the Jewish faith, people should not be doing work on that day. They should be taking it as a day of rest and time with their family. So foreign business people should not expect people from Israel to be doing business on that day. Another thing to keep in mind is that people who are Jewish practice eating a kosher diet. And the main thing to remember with that is that people who eat kosher do not eat pig products. So if someone were going to do business over a meal, they should avoid any sort of pig product in the meal because the Israeli business partner probably would not partake. And so all morals can be influenced by the Jewish teachings. Obviously, not every person in Israel is from that faith, but the culture there is greatly affected by it, and thus the business would be greatly affected by it. So next we will move on to discussing another unique Middle Eastern nation, and that nation is Turkey. So Turkey is kind of different compared to the other Middle Eastern nations, also because of its geography. So it's very close to being part of Europe, and depending on the person you ask, it might not be a Middle Eastern nation. So in Turkey, the primary language is Turkish, and English is not as common there. But for international business, English still reigns as the main language used throughout the world. So Turkey does try to partake in that as well, but not every Turkish person is able to understand or speak English, so a translator might be necessary. In Turkey, a Western and cosmopolitan business style has been adopted. So again, being close to Europe, those customs have kind of been taken up in Turkey, and same goes for with business. And it's very important to understand that etiquette is extremely important in Turkey. So with etiquette, that means that there is an emphasis on the handshake when greeting someone, and direct eye contact is a must for a Turkish person to trust and have a good start with an international business person. And as for the attire, it is extremely formal and conservative. So you can never be too dressed up when doing business in Turkey. It's important to remember that verbal communication is preferred, and decisions are made very slowly in Turkey. So a negotiation could take many days for a decision to be made. Ethics should not be discussed in Turkish business. So even if the deal might have something to do with ethics, based on the relationship level that the people have, they should really just not be discussing ethics. And punctuality is expected from people there, but the Turkish people don't always return it. So that's something to keep in mind for anyone who's possibly doing business there, that they should not be offended by the kind of double standard there. Next, we will also discuss the religion and morals in Turkey that affect business. So Turkey is a primarily Islamic nation, and some things to keep in mind with Islam is that Ramadan and Ramadan feast are observed. So if that is something that might affect business, someone should keep that in mind. And something that happens regularly with the Islamic faith is there is structured prayer time 5 times per day. So people may be doing business, and depending on how they practice their faith, they may want to go observe that prayer time. So people should keep that in mind when doing business with anyone of the Islamic faith, but especially in Turkey. And so morals are influenced by Islamic teachings because the country of Turkey is influenced by Islamic